a two-sided coin has an equal likelihood of landing on each side. Okay, so we have a regular two-sided coin. One side has heads and the other side has tails. Pseudocode program below simulates randomly flipping the coin many times. So we're flipping the coin a bunch of times. Great. Assume that random number AB is a procedure that will generate a random number between A and B inclusive. So random number is going to give us a random number between the two values, A and B. So notice here that head starts at 0, tail starts at 0, and rolls is 100. Notice here that the condition is going to continue as long as I is less than rolls. And I goes up by 1 each time. So since rolls is 100, this is gonna be the condition as long as I is less than 100, which means that this loop will run 100 times for the values 0 to 99. Each of these 100 times, what the computer is gonna do, it's gonna check if the random number that we got, and notice that random number is gonna be 0 or 1. So you're gonna get some random number, either 0 or 1, and it's gonna check if that random number that we got is 0. If the random number is 0, then tails goes up by 1. So basically, me getting the random number of 0 is representing tails. 0 represents, heads. 0 represents heads. And if I get the random number 1, then this if is false, which means that tails goes up by 1. So 1 represents tails. So each of the 100 times, I'm either going to get the random number 0, which means that I increase heads by 1 because that means that represents that I got heads, or I check the if and randomly I got a 1 instead, which means that I got tails that time. So tails goes up by 1 so that we can keep a tally of how many times we got heads or tails these 100 times that we flipped this coin. Now, the question is asking about what is not possible based on the program. Now remember, we're flipping this coin 100 times. So it's probably not going to happen that all 100 times I got heads, but it is possible. Say in the same way, it's not probable that I would get tails all 100 times, but it is possible. And of course, getting them 50-50, 50 times getting heads and 50 times getting tails makes kind of more probable sense. But what all of these are all possible. What is not possible is that you flip the coin 100 times and you got tails 20 times and heads 20 times. Why? Because you flipped the coin 100 times. So you must have gotten a tails and heads total that is going to be 100. This would be only 40 flips. But we know that based on the program, the for loop is going to run 100 times. So the total there must be, meaning that I flipped it 100 times. And that would mean that I only flipped it 40 times, which is incorrect.